All right, so you guys want to know what type of presets am I using for the Predator 1987 Predator. Remember, this is just for the 1987 Predator movie. I will also test Predator 2, Predators, and the Predator, the latest one. Uh, you have to remember something. This is an old movie. This is 1987. And what 20th Century Fox did here, I did check my Apple TV version, Apple 4K TV version, and I did compare it to the 4K HDR Blu-ray disc. Listen, man, the 4K HDR Blu-ray disc just blows it out of the water. It's like there's the constant bitrate sharpness. Uh, Trust me, it looks perfect. Okay, I'll just say it the way it is. It looks perfect. Now, let me show you what type of picture settings I'm using for the OLED E8 55-inch television. And like I said, this is the reason why you want to have OLED. The reason I have OLED, it's because of the movies. Honestly, it's really because of the movies. And this is where it pays off on a classic movie like this. So, for those of you who are thinking about buying OLED, or maybe you want to think about in the future getting the OLED, so let me give you these settings for the future reference and what I'm using. Okay, here we go. All right, so first thing first, I'm using a Cinema Home HDR. And remember, your OLED light has to be all the way high and your contrast has to be all the way high in order for you to take the advantage of high dynamic range. This is how high dynamic range works, fellas and ladies. If you don't have that backlit all the way high and if you don't have that contrast all the way high, then you might as well turn off the HDR. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. All right, so you want to know what settings I'm using. Well, let me show you what settings I'm using. Remember, OLED light at 100, contrast at 100, brightness at 50, sharpness at 1. By the way, that's Jesse Ventura, Jesse the Body Ventura, also a former governor of Minnesota, and of course, WWF and Navy SEAL, ex-Navy SEAL, Frogman, ex-Frogman, Navy SEAL. Remember, sharpness at 1. You want to keep that sharpness at 1. Color at 50. You already have HDR. You already have OLED. You already have a beautiful color gamut. There is no reason for you to mess around with the color. Leave it color at 50. Color temperature balanced. Keep it at balanced so you can have a nice balance between the warm and cold. You get a really nice balanced tone of color here. Dynamic contrast, keep it at high. Dynamic tone mapping, turn it on. Dynamic color, keep it at high. Trust me. Trust me. You already have the color at 50. You already have the color at 50. Keep dynamic color at high so you can take advantage of that color gamut with the HDR. It's going to look much, much better. And of course, you want the color gamut at wide, obviously. And of course, last but not least, noise reduction low, MPEG, noise reduction low, black level high, real cinema on, motion eye care off, and true motion off. And pretty much that's all I'm using, guys. As you can see, it looks phenomenal. It looks great. This looks even better in person. If you haven't purchased Predator 4K movie, a HDR collection, the Predator on 4K UHD Blu-ray disc is just, it looks better than ever, as you can see. Well, there's my settings. Enjoy it. This only works with the OLED.